talk a little bit about the two campaigns. I mean, we can focus on the conservative campaign, especially Pierre's campaign.
So in terms of the different political campaigns, I am pleasantly surprised by Pierre Poilievre because I would say every political campaign in Canada in the last 10 years, definitely on the federal level, because maybe there's some every campaign by every political party has been designed to lose. And it's really been a competition of who's the least incompetent running for office at the moment. And Trudeau won some of those competitions by being a name. Andrew Scheer decided to ditch his personality and, do just talk about nothing, and just be like, I drink milk, my mom is my best friend, vote for me. And who's this appealing to? Are we really losing the Andrew Scheer's mom demographic? I thought we had that one locked solid. But no, and then Aaron O'Toole came along and he did the guys, I'm exactly like Justin Trudeau, but he started as like, I'm the true blue conservative, I'm the most conservative, I'm not Peter MacKay, but he was Peter MacKay. And then he won the nomination, and then he had absolute disdain for the grassroots. He's like, we're going to carbon tax, we're going to trans, we're going to do all the woke stuff. We're just going to do it better than Justin Trudeau. And no one in the conservative base was like, I want this. It's the first time I ever saw someone lose momentum on their political convention. Usually when you have a convention for like conservatives or liberals, you energize your base. O'Toole managed to do the opposite. You have Jagmeet Singh, which has just bankrupted the NDP. He is after the 20-year-old girl in university who took one course and now knows the world is a scary place vote demographic. He's locked that down on TikTok, but TikTok is not real life, and TikTok views do not translate to votes. This is something he should have known. So is that, and then Justin Trudeau continues to get more and more and more unpopular every time he opens his mouth. He's run his course in the GTA. I think you're seeing many different people get disillusioned with him, like cost of living, the price gouges has now hit the sort of the Uber Eats class. You could say the people who could sort of get themselves through the pandemic, like everyone's starting to feel it now, so it's time to go. And if you're part of any minority group, Jew, Hindu, Christian, who your churches are burning, the radicals harassing your synagogue, and you see the liberals appeasing all the radicals to keep them in their donor base. I think a lot of people are sort of out. So the election looks very good for the conservatives, and it looks like Pierre Poilievre is the first conservative politician to try and win an election in the last 10 years since Stephen Harper. This is the first time I think the conservatives are trying to win. They're doing conservative policies. They're getting into new debates. Like, not everything is perfect. Like, again, you're not going to win this whole, like, you're going to need to show ID to get internet pornography thing. Like, you're not going to be able to censor the internet. But the other good stuff is, okay, they're finally getting in on like the ridiculous gender stuff in the classroom. You can't have biological males in female prisons. You can't have, men competing against women in combat sports. All right, everyone tone down the lunacy. They're starting to sort of push into areas that more people want to see them push, where it is popular to be there, where the majority of the population is. He's showing good leadership doing this. He has good messaging on housing, cost of living, bring it down. So Poilievre is doing a very good job of, and again, the election's coming. We still have another year, but building name recognition, connecting, getting messages across, not saying anything too crazy, but still keeping momentum by, pushing the boundaries on different things, getting into the different social issues that have been tested, saying things that a lot of Canadians want to hear, taking, taking common sense as a conservative stance, getting people under the umbrella of, yes, common sense, let's just make rational decisions, no more craziness. It's a slow build, but he is building till 2025. And there's a reason why they're sometimes almost 20 points up in the polls.
And what's critical of the campaign?
There's always things you can criticize. I mean, I do think the Conservative Party is overly reliant on polling. I think they're getting to this point where they're better and react quicker to the polls. And I might sense a bit of this in Polia, but it's not perfect yet, where they have to realize that a lot of the polling data is built on faulty assumptions to begin with. The people who ask the questions and how questions are framed to Canadians matter a ton. So if you want to take polls, that's great. But you should be aware that if you want to poll people's attitudes on climate change, to say. The questions traditionally asked in Canadian polling, there's always a tacit implication in the questioning that the liberal policies on climate change actually do help make climate change better. It just increases cost of living, right? Whereas the conservative framing is actually these climate change policies, one, do not change the climate. Like they don't even work. They're not doing the things you say they're doing, and they're expensive, right? All the sort of polling, the most common thing in sort of polling data is there's always an implication built into the questions that the left-wing policies do what they say they're doing, right? You are getting $10 a day daycare. Do you support it? Do you support Poilievre taking away $10 a day daycare? No one's going to support that. That's such a negative question, right? But the people don't understand that you're not getting daycare for $10 a day. Like that never materialized. That was just a bunch of lefties saying a thing that sounded good and free and like will increase taxes, but can't manifest because it's not practical. So that's the big problem with polling is a lot of things you're polling are built on faulty assumptions, where as what you want to see the Conservative Party doing, and what Poilievre has capability to is get out there ahead of the polls, reframe the narrative, right? Again, if you want to go into the gender issue stuff, the media and Trudeau will frame it as, why Daniel Smith attacking healthcare for transgender kids. Everyone wants healthcare. Everyone should be allowed healthcare, right? But the framing that the right uses is parental rights, right? No one's going to be against parental rights, right? So like frame it this way and say like, okay, what we're actually against is, removing healthy sexual breast tissue or, genitals from underage people. Like you can't make decisions as a kid, no puberty blockers, no crazy surgeries for minors, right? And that's, the framing. And when it's framed that way, right? Like, are you in favor of healthcare for transgender kids? The majority of Canadians would probably say yes. However, ask the questions, do you think children should be able to get their healthy breast or genitals removed through surgical means? The majority would say no. So what polling are you getting? And you can affect people on the polls, but you have to frame the narrative. So the big test for the Conservatives is, will they be able to frame their own narrative independent from the media? And we will see that going to 2025. And this, I have more confidence in them than previous iterations, because Andrew Scheer, just once he got to be the leader, couldn't stand up to the party brass and just got pushed into this mold. O'Toole was your classic, fake blue, red Tory, we're going to Trudeau better than Trudeau. So, no one really got on with that. And Poilievre has this somewhat charismatic ability to explain things of nerdy politics. So I see that as working.